Sharon Goodall from FightHype.com. I'm here with Heather the Heat Hardy, WBO featherweight champion and MMA Bellator fighter. How's it going?
Doing very well. And yourself?
I'm doing great. It's been a while since we've seen you in the octagon or the ring a little bit. How's coming back in the transition of fighting going?
Well, it was really challenging at the beginning. I started this camp real early. Like as soon as I heard about Bellator coming to the Garden, I got out to Long Island. I started rolling again, started wrestling again. I'd say first 3 weeks, impossible. By the end of camp, I can't wait to get in there and show off a little bit.
Now, what made you come back into MMA opposed to defending your title? I know that you're in the realms of both worlds, and it's kind of a tricky situation, right?
Well, the politics of boxing made it really hard for me to move ahead with the fight, and we were negotiating fights in December and in January, trying to unify the 126-pound division, and opportunities just kept falling through. The money offered wasn't there. The venues weren't there. There was so much back and forth that I wound up having to lose the fight with Bellator in February because I was going to go to the Garden, and I had nothing until now. So when I heard they were coming here, I just said, you know what, we're doing it. I don't even want to hear about boxing.
Now, talking about your fight on Bellator's 222 at the Garden, how exciting that you get to perform here in front of your hometown crowd and everybody.
Oh man, I feel like I'm spoiled. I get to, somebody said the other day that I was going to be the first athlete to compete in back-to-back sports at the Garden. I mean, who the hell's better than me? So exciting.
Now, with that being said, you had a camp in boxing, now you're coming back in camp in MMA. Was it difficult to transition between those two things, going the fact that now there's kicks and
it's extremely challenging. It's like basketball and baseball. You have two balls, but it's a totally different sport. It's really, really hard. But I did it. I'm good.
Is this where your heart's at now, seeing the fact that you captured the title in boxing and now?
I will say that I had so much fun in this fight camp. I can't wait to sit down with my team after this fight and figure out where we're going to go moving forward.
And I overheard you talking to someone saying that based on the fact that you're going to be competing in MMA, mandatories and defending the titles of your WBO, you may potentially run into some issues with that.
If I lose my title, I lose my title. This is the rest of my career, my life I'm talking about. I'm not really interested in navigating through the politics of either sport.
It's safe to say that your long-term goal is to win a title in Bellator and be a two-sports champion, boxing.
That's safe to say that, but I have to stay in my lane a little bit. This is my first fight on the comeback, so maybe afterwards I'll talk a little bit more shit, but right now I'll stay where I belong, right here.
Absolutely. And I just had to get your opinion on the Katie Taylor performance at the Garden a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Overall, it was an electric fight.
It was one of the best fights in women's boxing. I've commented on it a lot, and I take nothing away from Katie. She's perhaps arguably one of the best female boxers ever. She'll go down in the history books without a doubt. But she didn't win that fight. She shouldn't have been able to take that girl's titles. I would have taken it as a draw, even boxing is what it is. It's fine, they'll do a rematch. But to make that girl walk out of the stadium without her titles, that's a sin. That makes me sick and embarrassed of my sport.
Now, there's a lot of controversy with that, and the rematch seems to be the proper thing for the fights to be made. How would you predict the rematch between
Katie
those
will win it, 100-91. She lost this one because of inexperience. She was an Olympic fighter, and the person came in as a more experienced pro who knew how to use dirty boxing to win the rounds. She ain't gonna get away with that again, but that's why they shouldn't have taken that night from her. That was her night. She lost that.
Absolutely. And then my other last question is the Anthony Joshua and the Ruiz. There was a big upset that recently happened. There's going to be a rematch regardless if it's UK, US. How do you think that fight's going to play out?
Hard to say, man. You got his chin checked, so you don't know if that was by fluke or by who he is as a man. So I guess we'll see.
Well, look, I appreciate the time. I'm excited to see your fight. Fans to follow you on social media and your journey in both sports.
Yes, thank you so much.
Heather the Heat.
On Instagram at Heather the Heat or on Twitter at Heather Hardy Box.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Yes,
Congratulations.
lovely to talk.